Exiting portside airlock.
We need to make our way back to the Estrella, to the auxiliary drive bay.
All right, Apollo, you're on your way. I'm waiting for my explanation.
We all agree simply transmitting Jack's consciousness into the past won't work this time. However, if we were to appropriate one of the Estrella's remaining FTL drives, the Doctor and I believe we may be able to use it to return both you and Jack to the 22nd century.
You're saying we might be able to go home?
I'm reticent to make any assurances, but yes, I believe it is possible. Assuming at least one of the drives is still operational.
I thought you said we couldn't access the drives because of all the biomass.
That was before we had the counterpulse.
Well, that's great, but do you have some way for Jack to administer it?
Jack, make your way to the nearest fabricator. I have a new modification for your shell.
Understood.
Integration successful. Your new counterpulse device is ready to be equipped.
I expect you'll find it quite an effective tool for combating the biomass. Field test successful.
It's a weapon.
A focused counterpulse emitter. Based on a design from my own timeline and calibrated to the same wavelength as the treatment we administered via the medical pod.
Cure gun. Nice.
Understand, this device will only eliminate the older, more primitive biomass. The more evolved forms from this time period will just be temporarily incapacitated.
Regardless, it should make short work of the biomass surrounding the Estrella's FTL drives. It's possible with more research data we could refine the treatment wavelength even further, making the device that much more efficient.
Which would allow the emitter to discharge more shots before overheating.
Certainly fixed you right up, didn't we?
We're ready to proceed to the drive bay. In the meantime, Captain Rhodes, I will need you to assemble a custom gantry to secure the FTL once it's in our possession. I've already fed the necessary specifications to the fabricators.
Good. I'm in the mood for a bit of work.
Moving out into the debris field now.
Just get that FTL and get back here quick as you can. No sense spending any more time over there than you need to.
Agreed.
Alright, let's assume this works. Let's say you two track down a working FTL. We get it hooked up and Apollo manages to recreate a physical time jump that, by some miracle, sends us back home to our own time. How exactly are we supposed to eliminate all the biomass once we're there? I mean, it's not like we can just set off a bomb and blow it all to smithereens. That's exactly what you're planning to do, isn't it?
Well, not a bomb so much as a device that will unleash a sudden and forcible burst of energy across a widespread area.
So, a bomb.
Yes, a bomb. But one that emits a counterpulse that should only be harmful to the biomass.
Brilliant.
I'm a tactical AI. Most of my solutions tend to involve some form of explosion.
Uh-huh.
How will we make this device?
I mean, I could do it, but my hands are a bit tied at the moment.
I can easily repurpose existing equipment to construct a counterpulse dispersion catalyst.
Cure bomb.
Very well. Cure bomb. We will also need a means of transport, ideally one that can regulate the catalyst's energy signature.
The cargo drones should be more than capable of assembling the materials we need.
Excellent. I will transmit the details.
Wait a second. How is Jack's reboot ability supposed to work in the past without the fabricator network?
My design for our makeshift transport includes a single fabricator to accommodate Jack's reboot for the duration of our mission. Once we've detonated the catalyst and are out of danger, we can address reintegrating Jack's protocols into an Atlas network.
Assuming all this goes to plan.
Well, yes. It would be rather difficult to operate on the opposite assumption.
Shields at 95%.
I've reached the drive bay.
How's it looking there?
More or less how we expected.
That bad, is it?
Jack, the removal process will require access to several mechanisms throughout the drive bay. Any live ticks in the area will undoubtedly make our job that much more difficult.
Understood. I'll clear them out.
Our aim is to locate a viable FTL drive. We need one that is suitably infected with biomass, but not to the extent that it is overrun.
The Goldilocks FTL.
An accurate, if somewhat antiquated metaphor. Once we find a suitable drive, we'll need to remove it from its housing and extract it via the corresponding service port. The removal process is no easy task, but I can walk you through the procedure.
All clear, Apollo.
Acknowledged. Now then, we should start by identifying any FTLs that are still extractable. Look for drives whose locking pins are largely clear of biomass at the upper and lower extremities.
Understood. I'll see if there's a drive that's clear enough to move.
Anyone able to cross their fingers, do it now.
Excessive biomass infestation. These locking pins won't be able to move. Moving on to the next drive. The internal components are infested with biomass. It must have found its way in through the room's infrastructure.
This is an encouraging sign.
Some biomass is present, but not enough to impede the locking pins. Now to inspect the opposite end. This terminal controls the drive?
Yes. Eventually, the terminal will allow you to move the drive along its service channel. For now, however, there is still the matter of finding an extractable drive. We're looking for any drives whose locking pins are free of obstruction.
Some biomass infestation here, but it's minimal. Not enough to inhibit the locking pins. Stand by while I confirm the other end of the drive is clear. The locking pins on this end also appear to be free of any obstruction.
Confirmed. Cursory inspection verified. Internal biomass growth is also suitable for our needs.
Is that Owen?
It certainly appears so.
So we're good to go.
Nearly. The FTL will first need to be primed, which requires filling the drive with an ionized fluid and stimulating a hybrid voltaic reaction.
Is that as dodgy as it sounds?
Priming the drive is a fairly standard procedure. Moving a drive after it's been primed is most certainly not.
How do we start the procedure?
The drive controls are offline. You'll need to initiate the process manually. Look for an access panel on the side of the FTL drive.
I've reached the drive bay.
How's it looking there?
More or less how we expected.
That bad, is it?
Jack, the removal process will require access to several mechanisms throughout the drive bay. Any live ticks in the area will undoubtedly make our job that much more difficult.
Understood. I'll clear them out.
Our aim is to locate a viable FTL drive. We need one that is suitably infected with biomass, but not to the extent that it is overrun.
The Goldilocks FTL.
An accurate, if somewhat antiquated metaphor. Once we find a suitable drive, we'll need to remove it from its housing and extract it via the corresponding service port. The removal process is no easy task, but I can walk you through the procedure.
All clear, Apollo.
Acknowledged. Now then, we should start by identifying any FTLs that are still extractable. Look for drives whose locking pins are largely clear of biomass at the upper and lower extremities.
Understood. I'll see if there's a drive that's clear enough to move.
Anyone able to cross their fingers, do it now.
Some biomass is present, but not enough to impede the locking pins. Now to inspect the opposite end. The locking pins on this end also appear to be free of any obstruction.
Confirmed. Cursory inspection verified. Internal biomass growth is also suitable for our needs.
Is that our winner?
It certainly appears so.
So we're good to go.
Nearly. The FTL will first need to be primed, which requires filling the drive with an ionized fluid and stimulating a hybrid voltaic reaction.
Is that as dodgy as it sounds?
Priming the drive is a fairly standard procedure. Moving a drive after it's been primed is most certainly not.
How do we start the procedure?
The drive controls are offline. You'll need to initiate the process manually. Look for an access panel on the side of the FTL drive.
This terminal controls the drive?
Yes. Eventually, the terminal will allow you to move the drive along its service channel. For now, however, there is still the matter of priming the drive.
Access panel located.
You'll have to cut your way in. Pull the lever inside and the drive will begin priming. Once the injection process is complete, I will funnel all remaining power in the drive bay to the FTL.
Drive priming initiated.
Injection complete. I will now attempt to create a sustained reaction by applying any remaining power. Stand by. Sustained reaction achieved. We're ready to remove the drive.
Outstanding.
What's next, Apollo?
The FTL drive is held in place by locking mechanisms at its upper and lower extremities. They must be manually released before the drive can be removed.
Got it. I'll release the locks.
The release mechanisms are housed within the drive moorings at both the top and bottom of the chamber. You'll need to cut your way in.
Understood. I've gained access to the drive locking mechanisms.
The release control is located on the drive itself, between the locking pins.
Shields at 95%.
upper locking mechanism released.
Once you release the lower lock, the drive should come free.
Drive unlocked.
Excellent. I've repowered a nearby control panel so you can complete the removal procedure. The controls will allow you to position the drive so it can be easily removed via cargo drone.
Moving FTL into position.
Steady on there, Jack. That's our ride home.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the... Jack, be advised. Ticks inbound.
Stand by. I'll deal with them. Tick threat neutralized. Resuming removal process at the control terminal.
Once the drive reaches the outer wall, you can open the service port to make the drive available for retrieval. They must have been drawn out by the drive's substantial energy signature.
The drive is in position. How do I open the service port?
Multi-operator release controls on either side of the hatch.
Removal process complete. The FTL drive is ready to be extracted.
Good work, Jack. Drones are on their way.
Copy that.
Ready to depart with the cargo in T-10 seconds. If you plan to accompany the drive, I suggest you take hold now. Departing in 3, 2, 1. Thrusters engaged.
I'm exiting the drive bay.
Give the Estrella a wave as you go. Suppose this is the last we'll be seeing of her.
I'm afraid that's not entirely accurate.
What do you mean?
To ensure we eliminate all the biomass in the past, we will need to generate a counterpulse substantial enough to blanket the entire Kronos 2 orbital center. To do so, we will have to venture into the remains of the Estrella that were left behind in 2126 and use the ship's primary drive exchange conduit to amplify the output of the Cure Bomb.
Kinda grows on you, doesn't it?
Not unlike a biomass infestation.
So, where am I in all this?
I will need you to accompany us into the wreckage. As acting captain of the Estrella, your authorization is required to access the primary drive bay.
Right. Well, I've nearly finished rigging up the gantry. Should be good to go by the time the drones turn up with the FTL. I'll see you back here shortly.
Acknowledged.
Jack, I should tell you, if our plan succeeds, it is unlikely you will be able to return to this timeline. If there are any outstanding tasks you'd like to finish, now might be the opportune time.
Understood. Juno, what is the state of Titan?
How do you mean? The weather?
No, Juno. He's asking if anyone's still living there. Our old supervisor was stationed on that moon.
Given the passage of time, I am certain that your boss has long since expired. after the Atlas Corporation dissolved in 22.
The answer is no.
This will transport not only the cure bomb, but also the captain and myself.
Correct. It won't be particularly fast,
Or comfortable.
but it should be safe. Still, Captain, for posterity, you'll want to stay clear of the thrusters. Though your suit should be more than capable of...
Don't worry, Juno. I'll only cozy up to the thruster if I start to get chilly.
Facetiousness aside, I doubt that will be an issue. Our intended date of arrival corresponds with the Astrea's wreckage still burning through a sustained plasma reaction. Radiation levels will be quite high. The transport's dampener, however, will...
When did you two become a pair of doting parents? I get it, though. I'll be careful.
Thank you.
What? I secured it. It's fine. Don't get cheeky with me. Alright, Doc. The gantry's rigged up. I think we're all set here.
Jack, I want to remind you again. Once we start this process, we are effectively locked in. Your shell will be exclusively paired to the fabricator on the rear of the transport rig. If you exceed its range, you will be forced to reboot. If you have any remaining tasks you'd like to address, this is your final opportunity.
I understand. I'm ready to begin.
Very well. Moving FTL into position. Everyone, keep clear.
Will do. Clamps are set. Bring her in.
How are you feeling?
Better, actually. It's weird. I didn't notice how much the infection was affecting me until I was rid of it.
Imagine if the disease had had time to progress.
I'd really rather not, thanks.
Drive secured.
Confirmed. Connection established. The FTL is now linked to the station's power grid.
Reading vigorous biomass activity within the drive. The infection is feeding off the FTL's energy field.
I assume that's good.
It's expected. Begin diagnostic and compatibility check. Verify functionality of all drive components. This should only take a moment.
No problem. We'll just sit here in nervous anticipation.
Very well.
You're concerned?
About having every molecule in my body yanked across all space and time. I'm a little nervous, yeah.
The odds of success are surprisingly favorable, especially when one considers all the variables at play.
Suppose we can work with that.
Diagnostic and compatibility check complete. Stand by while I reconfigure the FTL's drive settings to mirror the exact conditions that first sent the Astrea back in time.
Dr. Harlan?
Yes, we have to get clear of the platform. I know.
Well, I guess this is it.
So it would seem. Captain, I want to say I'm sorry. I was wrong to keep you in the dark as long as I did. Perhaps if I trusted you sooner. In any case, I hope you can forgive me, though I don't expect you to. Right. Well, goodbye.
Dr. Harlan, thank you. What you're doing here should be proud of you.
She'd be angry with me.
Oh, yeah, probably. But should still be proud.
Thank you. Both of you. For helping me put an end to this.
Doctor, we should really be going.
Yes. All right.
Good luck, Doctor.
To all of us.
FTL settings configured. As soon as the doctor is clear, we can begin spinning up the drive.
Farewell, Captain Rhodes.
Take care of him, Juno.
Of course, always. Goodbye, Jack. I will make sure to permanently archive all of the time we have spent together.
I'll miss you too, Juno.
Good luck saving your timeline.
Popcorn? Well, what do you say, Jack? You ready for this?
I am if you are.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be fun.
Apollo, we are clear.
Very well. Commencing final jump prep.
Listen. I realized I never properly thanked you. For, well, everything.
You'd have done the same for me.
Hibernating for 4 centuries might have been a bit tricky for me to pull off.
You'd have found a way.
FTL spin-up complete. Drive reports green.
Remember, you need to trigger the device before the Ithaca reaches the infected zone. That should be enough to alter the course of events. Prevent the biomass from spreading.
Understood.
We'll get it done.
Transferring manual control to transport. Ready to execute jump.
Godspeed. To you both.
All right, Jack.
FTL engaged.
See you in a tick.
Jumping in 3, 2.
Okay, I'm on.
Are you all right?
Yeah, no, I'm okay. It's just... Holy shit. That was...
Incredible.
I was going to say terrifying. But yeah, also pretty incredible. What about you? You alright?
Of course. I've become somewhat of an expert when it comes to temporal displacement.
Though for my own part, I must say the physical method of time travel is significantly more turbulent.
God. Look at this place.
Not exactly the home you remember.
You know what? I'll take it. As long as we've still got time to do our job.
Apollo, can you verify our time frame? Did we make it back before the Ithaca?
Cross-referencing astrometric positional data. Stand by. Confirmed. We have arrived just prior to the Ithaca's approach.
I think I see her. There. That bright dot just off Rhea. Jack, you see that?
The vessel is closing fast. We have limited time.
Then let's not waste any more of it. The transport's good to go?
I'm still running diagnostics, but so far everything appears to be in working order.
Well, that'll have to do. We're on the clock.
Very well. Plotting a course for the Estrella's primary drive bay.
Popcorn? You're staying out here. See if you can find me a way to contact the Ithaca. Local comms just aren't going to cut it. We need a way to boost the signal. None of that. I promise. As soon as we finish hooking up the cure bomb, we'll come find you. Now go.
Course laid in. Transport rig prepped for departure. I would advise you both hold on. Stand by for primary thruster burn. 3, 2, 1. Transport underway. Distance to primary drive exchange. 4,600 meters.
That's quite a sight.
I should warn you, much of the Estrella remains highly irradiated. The transport's radiation dampener will shield us, but its range is limited. I advise you remain close to the rig at all times. Especially you, Captain Rhodes.
Steer clear of professionals for radiation. Got it. Good safety tip.
Once we reach the drive bay, we'll need to connect the fuel cell directly into the Estrella's drive exchange conduit. That should amplify the counterpulse sufficiently enough to eliminate all the biomass in the sector.
You ready for this, Jack?
You're asking me if I'm ready to venture into the burning wreckage of a destroyed warship overrun with the most toxic and destructive life form mankind has ever encountered?
More or less. Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
I'm starting to think that I've been a bit of a terrible influence on you.
You're only just now coming to this realization?
Oh, shut up.
Approaching the Astrea's outer hull. Brace for deceleration.
Better hold on to something.
The most direct route to the drive bay is via a service tunnel just beyond these doors.
How do we get them open?
I'll need direct access to the local systems. There should be a control station just on the other side of that nearby airlock.
Right, let's go.
Perhaps those of us with reboot abilities should proceed first.
By all means. Lead on. How does this area still have power?
There are multiple redundancies in place to protect the engineering deck from power failure, even in the event of catastrophic structural damage. As you can see,
Good news for us.
not entirely. If the local power grid is still active, that means the biomass is as well.
Couldn't let me have just one bright spot, could you?
The control station is just up ahead. No sign of any significant biomass activity.
How long do you suppose that will last?
Based on previous experience, probably not as long as we'd prefer.
Are those the door controls?
Affirmative. They must have suffered some form of mechanical failure.
Yeah, I think so, dude.
Try the emergency release. You'll have to cut your way in.
Copy.
Locking mechanisms released.
Doors open.
Area clear. No biomass presence. This is it. Jack, I'll need your help to overwrite the local protocols. There's an AI core installed in the upper terminal. Remove it and place it in the overwrite slot.
Copy that.
Your new data scanner should still be compatible.
Core secured.
Data port open.
Commencing upload.
Overwrite complete. Once you return the core to the upper terminal, I should have full access to all local systems.
Core locked in.
Access achieved. I have local control. Now all I need is the captain's authorization.
Right. This is Acting Captain Olivia Rhodes. Open the doors?
Authorization accepted. Disabling security measures. Doors opening. Stand by. I'm moving the rig inside.
Right, come on, Jack. Let's get back out to the transport and...
Captain,
What is it?
I'm reading movement.
Shit.
Multiple biomass signatures closing on the transport. NAVCOM is failing. I can't pilot the transport with those ticks draining its systems.
I can clear them off. Stand by.
Use the secondary airlock beyond the control station. It's your quickest route to the transport.
Got it. We're on our way.
Negative, Captain. You will need to remain inside. The transport is too far out. You would die in seconds.
Right. Flesh-melting radiation.
If you die, our mission fails.
Your concern for my well-being is extremely touching. Thanks.
You're welcome. Airlock controls should already be active. Cycling airlock. Stand by.
That Want to ready that counterpulse gadget of yours, Jack?
Affirmative. I'll signal you when it's all clear.
I'm gonna just back up a bit here. Good luck.
I count 3 tick forms on the transport jack. You'll need to neutralize all of them in order for me to regain control.
Acknowledged. That's 1. That's 2. That should be all of them. Apollo, can you confirm?
Confirmed. Transport power flow nominal. I've regained operational control.
Stand by, Liv. We're coming to you.
Make sure you pull up nice and close. I prefer my insides remain unliquefied.
Not to worry, Captain. You'll be well within the dampener's radius. There. That should be more than sufficient for the captain to safely board.
Liv, you are clear to exit.
Copy that. Come on. Let's go.
Engaging primary thrusters. Be advised. Adjusting course. Course replotted. Brace for thruster reignition. Jack, I suggest keeping your counterpulse emitter armed. The biomass is likely to be much more prevalent as we move further inward.
Understood.
Just how bad is this going to get?
The primary drive bay is one of the most energy-intensive areas on the entire ship. We should expect the biomass infestation to be proportionally dense.
You know, you could just say it's going to get really bad.
I thought that was what I said.
We appear to have another sealed door ahead.
Affirmative.
You have a plan for getting it open? That'll do.
Yes. My newfound control of the local systems is more extensive than I anticipated.
Perhaps this means the rest of our mission will go just as smoothly.
If only wishing made it so.
Indeed. I expect the door to the primary drive bay will require a bit more effort to open. Proximity alert.
Jack, look out.
Firing braking thrusters.
That's the last of them. Apollo.
Affirmative.
Nicely done. I don't think a single tick made it to the transport.
Most fortunately for you, Captain. Though the ticks do appear to be more interested in the transport than you or Jack. Preparing to resume course. Please hold on.
We're on. Let's go.
Acknowledged. Resuming course. We should be coming up on the drive bay shortly.
Popcorn? Popcorn, you read? Coming up on the drive bay. How are things looking your end? Can you find me a way to talk to the Ithaca? There's got to be something in that mess we can cobble together. Keep looking. Just enough to get a signal out. Could be Morse code for all I care. Just so long as the Ithaca can hear it. Okay. Well, copy that, I guess. Keep me posted. How much further, Apollo?
The drive bay is just up ahead. Tracking movement ahead. More takes inbound.
They just keep coming.
I think that's the last of them.
Approaching destination. Reducing speed. The primary drive bay is just beyond these doors.
Alright, let's get them open.
There's an airlock nearby that will take you to the control station.
I see it.
I'll proceed first.
Right behind you. Popcorn. Popcorn, do you read? He's not responding.
Radiological interference from the Estrella is disrupting our local comms. We should be able to re-establish contact once we're clear of the wreckage.
Those escape pods?
That's correct.
Do they still work?
Surprisingly, yes. The pods are still registering as functional. Let's proceed to the control station. Biomass from the drive bay has spread to the door controls.
What about the emergency thing?
There is considerable buildup around the panel, but it looks to still be accessible.
I'll take a look.
You could use your counterpulse emitter to nullify any threat from the biomass. Jack, could we get a closer look at the emergency release?
The infestation is fairly severe, but I think I can still reach the panel. Got it. Opening door.
Through here.
As before, our first step is to rewrite the local protocols. The procedure is identical to the one we performed earlier.
Where's the AI core? It's not in the terminal.
One of the engineers must have removed it during the initial outbreak, an attempt to seal the drive bay. It's likely the core is still close by. We should search the adjoining rooms. Expect considerable biomass presence.
You go, I'll keep an eye on the transport.
I won't be long.
Jack, the core is in the adjoining corridor.